Welcome to the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr. I am a transformational mindset and business coach and six-figure award-winning female entrepreneur. Ladies, I'm here to tell you that business and making money doesn't have to be hard when you're in alignment and flow. Inside this podcast, I will be showing you how to transform your mindset to program it for success, how to maximize your money vibrations, and how to redesign your business for ultimate financial and time freedom. You know you are meant to live an epic life. Now it's time to claim it. Hi ladies, welcome to another episode of the Making Money Monday Moves podcast mini series. I'm super excited to share this with you today, and it's the big one. It's all around money, so cannot wait to dive into it. So this one is all around working on your money mindset. Obviously, I can go into a lot more detail about this, but for right now, and obviously I've got other episodes as well where I really dive into like subconscious programming and societal conditioning and all of these things as to why, as women, we have such an issue with receiving, or not necessarily an issue, but such an energetic resistance on an unconscious level to receiving money. So obviously I would invite you to go back to those episodes because it really does go into a lot more depth. And this episode is really just how that relates to my client. So essentially I have to caveat this with as well, she already had a successful business. So again, when we think of money mindset, we assume it's just the people that have no money, that have an issue with their money mindset. But actually that can also, it's everybody. Everybody to some extent has some sort of energetic resistance to receiving the next level of success when it comes to finances. So we all have a thermostat inside us right now, a level of wealth and income that we are happy to receive, essentially, that we feel comfortable receiving before self-sabotage starts to kick in, before procrastination and all of those great things, or before we actually receive it and then give it away. And that will be dependent on your conditioning from, and this is why people always say the rich get rich and the poor get poorer. And it all generally does come down to your money mindset and what you're comfortable in receiving and what you're used to receiving. So this was essentially the case with my client. She already had a successful business. She had replaced her corporate salary because obviously she was used to receiving that sort of money. And you do find that a lot, that when people come from a corporate background, move into entrepreneurship, the first few months, all they ever make is what they were used to making in their corporate job. And that is because that is where their thermostat is currently set to receiving. So the first thing that we need to do is obviously deal with our money mindset in business. Everything relates to that. And on that note, I actually have developed a 3-step signature 3 times a day method that I use with my one-to-one clients to help reprogram their subconscious to receive more wealth. So if you would like a copy, please head over to Instagram, the Femalepreneur Coach, and DM me the word money, and I will send you a copy of it. It's really, really good. It's so powerful. And obviously that's the first thing that I do with my clients is get them to work on that money mindset, because otherwise what happens is any strategy that I can give them is fantastic, but they're not going to go away and execute it, and they're not going to actually necessarily see the results of it because they're not used to receiving that sort of money, and they will just do absolutely everything in their power to resist receiving it. So this is essentially what happened with my client. She had a super successful business, but she wanted to create more time freedom. So she basically done it all the hard way, very much blood, sweat and tears. She wasn't compensating herself for her time. She didn't even factor that into her business. It was all very much on like, what does the cost of this cost? Okay, I'm going to add so much money to that. What feels good? What do I think they'll pay? And all of those things. So you can imagine, for me, this was like the golden goose. It was so exciting to get my hands on her business and her, because I just knew that there was so much untapped potential there just waiting to be tapped into. So what we did was obviously really looked at the conditioning that had got her to that point. And this is where I would love to invite you to do the same. Really, be intentional, be present, tap into your intuition, create some space for this exercise, sit down with your journal or a piece of paper and write down all of the things that you heard around money growing up. What were the common things that your parents said to you? What did you witness at school, the parents at school, any adult with any element of authority in your life? Whether it's your teachers, your community, aunts, uncles, they absolutely would have shaped your beliefs as it relates to money and other things. But as it relates to money particularly as well. So have a think about all of those things, and then be able to observe your own thoughts for a day. Witness your own actions. It's one of your greatest superpowers, is being able to be self-aware and see where you are then repeating and operating from that same place. So do you hear yourself saying the same things that you would have heard? Do you get the same resistance around money? Do you feel like you need to make it hard? And interestingly, I'm going to do a whole episode on this, but I've just come back from a retreat in LA, which was fantastic. And I was essentially networking with other women in business, everything from startups right to multi 8 and 9 figure business owners. It was so powerful. And for me as a money mentor, there was never going to be a better cross section of women to really lean into and have these fantastic conversations with. And it was just so interesting to me as to how they spoke about money, how they spent their money, how they talked about their successes in business. It was just absolutely fascinating for me. And that it just became so apparent that work is never, ever done. So for every level of success, you can never get to the next level until you've gone back again and done this work. So that was super, super exciting. And what I did with my client was really go there, where, like, what happened with money, what were your parents talking about money? And obviously I won't go into too much detail, but she obviously agreed that yes, there was a very, very much a scarcity mindset around money. My mum didn't work, my dad worked all the hours. I was all, my correlation and connection to money was sacrificed. So therefore, when I then stepped into the space as a business owner, my temptation was to essentially make a job for myself. It had to be hard work. It had to be long hours. It had to be doing all of the things herself. And it was exhausting. So sometimes it's not about what I would say as well is when I work with clients that are more established, sometimes for them, the money is not a driver anymore. Once you've met your basic needs and you've got your core costs covered, and you're not living in a place of scarcity and lack, actually the money stops becoming so important. And for her, it was about creating more time freedom. But where the block was because she wasn't willing to invest in any team to support her, and she still felt like she had to do it all herself. And again, when I was in LA, this was just so interesting to me that there were women around the pool that were still sitting there with their laptops, still very much working as if they weren't in this beautiful luxury hotel in the middle of Beverly Hills, just, should have been living their best life. They hadn't created any space to really be present in that moment because they were still in their business. And that is always a symptom of a money block. So I obviously did some of that work actually real time, got women to triple their prices, not double their price, triple their prices. Another thing is that we don't talk about money enough as women. So nobody really had a sense of being able to benchmark their services against others honestly and openly. Because if you try and do that against things that are coming up online, we know that there's a lot of BS around that. But yeah, so we did that work. We really went there, really did the deep dive. And then that's where strategy can then step in, because then we could easily see, well, if you're willing to invest in these support systems, VAs, social media managers, people that can take a lot of our content and just take it away and make it into like videos and YouTube. Think how much more impact that you can have, because now you can, instead of focusing one platform, you can focus on multiple platforms. You can do all the things that you want to do and are trying to do but not doing very well. But also energetically, you can give a better service to your clients because you're not so physically and emotionally drained from all of the work that you're doing. You can also have a really joyful life, which is my ultimate ambition for all female entrepreneurs, is that we stop doing everything the hard way. We create more wealth and we have more joy ultimately. So that's the work that we did with her. And then obviously, leaned into the strategy and leveraging a lot of the stuff that she already had in place, and how could we do it smarter and how could we make some efficiencies. So sometimes a lot of business isn't very sexy. It is about the structures and the systems. But yeah, so that was all super, exciting because we straight away identified some real opportunities, but we also added in her time, which had never been calculated into any of her costs previously. So what happened as a result of that is, really clear outcomes in terms of money. So she made a 33% increase on her business the previous month, and she literally had the confidence and the energy to show up and sell that with confidence to the very next client. So straight away, within days of doing this work, she had new clients at her new rate and made 33% more money in her business instantly on her very next client. So this work literally pays for itself. But also in terms of the long-term benefits, she's been able to build a team now. So she also feels supported, and she also has more time and more energy to do the things that really she should be doing as a business owner, i.e. showing up and serving, but, was in receipt of support for the things that she had no business doing that are now being done infinitely better as well. So the ripple effects of that work will be massive because her branding's now on point, her posts are consistent, her messaging is stronger. She just literally needs to turn up and shine, which is super exciting. So I hope that there are some things there in that episode, in that case study today, that have made you think, okay, actually, maybe I need to do some of this work myself. Obviously, I have my Millionaire Mindset Bootcamp, which is a self-study program. It's a super deep dive, intentional, all of the things, a workshop program. It's a bootcamp that I, again, expect all of my clients to go through because it is so powerful. And everything starts and stops with that work. So I would love to invite you to head over to my Instagram or head over to my page. You can get your copy of the bootcamp below in the show notes, and really honour yourself and the value that you bring to the table and to this world, and make sure that you are constantly striving as a spiritual being for that next level, whatever that means for you, whether it's time, whether it's money, it all relates back to money. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic day, and look out for my next series, which is all around conversations with millionaire women. Thank you for listening to this episode. It's been amazing to share this time with you, and I feel honoured to be part of your journey. If you've loved what you've heard, had an aha moment, or found value in this episode, then please do like, comment and share. I would love to connect with you on Instagram and Facebook, so come and find me, and I look forward to helping you build your epic life.